Hi, in this video, I'm starting a new series where I break down realistic budgets of different lifestyles. We'll start with one of my favorite cities in US, Atlanta. More than 80% of Atlanta's working population commutes to work, which makes the city heavily car dependent. Because of that, transportation tends to be the second largest expense after housing. Today, we will look at a couple living in the rural area outside Atlanta. They earn around average household income, pay rent, own two cars, and have a small amount of savings. They're also planning to save for a wedding, but their main focus right now is to build an emergency fund and start to invest. We'll see how their budget fits into the 50-30-20 budgeting rule and whether they will be able to create a stable financial plan for the future. Some of the numbers may surprise you. Stay with me and let's dive in. When we load Moneta, this is the first thing we see. We have two options here: skip or continue with the onboarding. Let's continue with the onboarding. How do you feel about your finances? I will go with just starting with budgeting. And since the Atlanta is in the United States, I will just press continue. In this example, Ben and Emma are renting, so I'll just click rent. They rent for $2,000. I can either click on this range or select an exact amount. In this case, $2,000. They move around with a car. All they have for debts is a car loan. As we already have defined here, we know their monthly payments. So I would just add the exact amount here, the total amount of 500. Which of those subscriptions do they have? Or I'll click as a normal American Family, YouTube Premium, and Pandora Plus. As a streaming service, I will pick Netflix, Americans' favorite. To keep their body in shape, they go to a gym and tennis like 5 times a month. For guilt-free expenses, they go out to dine out like twice a month, order DoorDash, go to a cinema, gift for others, like if they're being invited to a birthday, clothing and fashion, and they would like to donate about 1% of their income. Okay, so here we select their saving plans. As we said before, they will save for a wedding, emergency fund, and investments. And just for fun, let's suppose Emma loves to buy gadgets sometimes. So just select it as not that important savings. We will adjust it later. Almost there. Here we should predict their sinking funds so they can minimize the surprises in the future. And first thing first, let's start with new phone upgrades. Emma and Ben, as 98% of the Americans, they own a mobile phone. So after a year or two, they need an upgrade. So let's predict that expense. Let's select two phones, upgrade every 2 years, and done. Car maintenance is the other thing we can predict. They have two cars, mid-size, done. And the last from the sinking funds is the car annual insurance amount. Let's just select the last option here. There we go. We have the final step where we should select their total take-home income for this month. In their case, it's 9,000. And I just want to know here that it doesn't matter when they receive their salary. As soon as they have 10,000 in savings, they can use it as a buffer fund. This allows them to iterate every calendar month, no matter when they get their salary. Let's see the plan now. Okay, so we can see that they fit in the 50-30-20 budgeting rule, at least as a high-level plan. It looks like this. The needs are 44%, the wants 12. We can see also that groceries are added, bills, and pretty much everything we need for needs and wants as a start. And let's look at the savings. Savings look really good as a plan, almost 4,000, 44% of the income. And well, they're quite low for emergency and investments and quite too high for gadgets, but we will adjust it later. As a skeleton of our plan, it looks nice. Okay, now let's continue and log in. I will log in as Emma here. The currency and the format look good for us, so let's continue. Nice, we're set up and ready. What we can see here are our wants categories, needs, and savings. Let's follow the banners now. Let's first refine our plan. Let's begin with needs. For groceries, I've done a bit of a research here. I'll share the data source links down in the description. They would rather need 800. For transport, it's going to be 250. The bills look nice. We just should change the internet. And the phone plans. And the rest looks okay. We need this because every plan is highly individual, and the idea is here to try to predict the current month expenses, and afterwards we will try to track and follow them. Even though you may exceed them, the idea here is to train your muscle of prediction. This would allow you later to be able to plan better and to learn more about your spending habits. So I'll speed this a bit. I'm doing some other changes for once. And let's talk about savings. For savings, the important part here is that we should follow their priorities. We should increase the emergency funds to 800, let's say. We should also increase the investments to 800 as well. And we still have quite a lot for gadgets. So I will just go for flexible savings and decrease their importance like this. I think 10% of the leftovers is good and increase the weighting. So what do we have here? As the name suggests, priority savings are our most important savings. We put those aside at the beginning of the month. The opposite of priority savings are the flexible savings because we put them aside at the end of the month. For example, if we have 1,000 at the end of the month, 90% of them will go for a wedding and just 10% for gadgets. What the next banner asks us is to fund our priority savings. So if I click on it, it will lead me to my savings. If I tap here, it will first look for a fund if I have fund for emergency. And if I don't, it will show this message for me to create or link a fund. So let's create one. It will be only the first time. And we'll set a goal of, let's say, 20,000. And here we go. This is our fund. It even has funded for the current month. And we can see that in 2027, we will reach our goal. Okay, let's go back now. So quickly I'll do the same for the rest of the savings. Now all my funds are created and my savings are funded for the current month. The balance reduced. All I have to do now is track my spendings, and at the end of the month, I will put aside for flexible savings. How to track our first expense looks like this. I'll click on the banner, we'll select groceries, we'll add 50 bucks, and we'll add my favorite Publix shop. Okay, good. Our first expense has been logged. All we have to do now is keep logging. The last important thing to do is to invite our partner Ben into the budget. Let's write his email address and send. They fit into the 50-30-20 budgeting rule and have a solid plan. If you're from Atlanta and this budget feels close to your situation, let me know down in the comments how realistic it is. If you're not from Atlanta, tell me where you're from and I may cover your city next. If you got some value out of this video, a like really helps out. And feel free to subscribe if you want to see more breakdowns like this. The goal here is just to make your finances a little more balanced and your life a little less stressful. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.